Jumping right in, we are going to prime our eyes with MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NW15. We're going to pat this all over from lash line to brow bone. It's not my actual concealer color, but it does make for a great primer with its anti-crease technology, and it sort of gives me a matte brow bone highlight. We're going to, as with any under eye concealer, set it with Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie, using a Real Technique setting brush to pat this all over from crease to brow bone, and then taking a clean blending or fluffy brush to blend out so the product is evenly distributed. This is going to make blending our other shadows much easier later on. Now we're going to go in with Makeup Geek Chickadee and a Sigma E40. Any fluffy blending brush will work. We're going to blow this out all over and above our crease. I know it kind of looks a little scary in the pan, but it blends out beautifully. And this is going to serve as the highest of our transition shades today. We're going to go in now with Makeup Geek Crème Brulee and a Sigma E25, I think. We're just going to use this to sort of map out where our next darker shade is going to go, keeping it sort of at the lowest part of our crease. And the next shade we're going to go in with is a really awesome one. It's another Makeup Geek in Cocoa Bear, which is a beautiful sort of burnt reddish brown, and it's actually named for her hubby's nickname, believe it or not. And back to work. Using the same E25, we are just going to lay this color down over what we mapped out a moment ago with Crème Brulee. As you can see, I bring my color up a little bit higher with the hooded eyes that I acquired after losing 40 pounds last year. This gives me sort of an illusion of a more defined crease. Make sure when you're using darker colors like this, you take the time to blend it out with a clean brush, going back and building up the color, blending out and building up the color, blending out and building up the color until you're happy with its intensity. Again, it's all about personal preference, so just do it until you're happy with how light or dark it is. The next step that we have going in is totally optional. We're going to go with Makeup Geek, another one, can you believe it, in Cupcake. We're going to use that same E25. It's sort of a soft pinkish purple color, just because when I think of a sunset or a sunrise, this is one of the colors that comes to mind for me, and that's sort of what inspired this look today. Using it again on the lowest part of the crease. If a little gets on the lid, that's totally okay too. We're going to cover it up with something special here in just a sec. And priming for that something special, we're using Urban Decay Primer Potion in Greed on the lower part of our lid, making sure not to bring this too high. The gold is going to be a perfect base for what we're going in with now, which is the Stila Magnificent Metals Foil Finish Eyeshadows in Metallic Rose Quartz. God, it's a mouthful. You can totally toss that pan that it comes with to the side because mixing it in that pan is crap. The most effective way I found to apply this is by dabbing it straight on the lid, the primer anyway, straight on the lid, and then patting your finger directly into the shadow and then dabbing it all over your lid. This method delivers the best payoff by way of metallic color intensity. Then you're going to make a crazy face while you let it dry. Remember, gently tap your finger in the shadow. Don't rub it, mush it, roll it, just gently tap it, or it will get chunky fast, and there is no fixing the shadow once that happens. It turns into a hot mess. We are going to line with NYC Liquid Liner. Any liquid liner will do. However, kohls, gels, and pens don't work as well over the top of this shadow. I know I'm kind of making this shadow sound like a pain in the ass, but it's really beautiful once you get it worked out. We aren't doing anything intense, just sort of enough to cover our lash band for liner or falsies later. Now we are priming with Benefit POREfessional and Tarte BB / 12-hour primer in medium. Whatever primer works best for you, making sure to first tap in and then rubbing out the excess, especially if you're using that POREfessional or anything like it. That's going to give you the best results. And now we're going to go in with a Lancôme Tint Miracle. I'm in Bisque 2C310 if you're curious. And I'm just going to buff that out with a Sigma F80, starting in the areas that need the most coverage and making sure to blend around the nose, between the brows, and especially around the hairline and the ears. God please. I've been loving this foundation for winter because it leaves me with a natural glow without making me look like a total grease ball. You're also going to want to bring this down on the jawline and the sides of the neck for seamless blending so you don't look crazy in the face. And the sun sort of hid behind the clouds. WTF, Mother Nature. I did order studio lighting. I just posted the pic on Insta. That will be in my next video, so Mother Nature be damned. We're going to go in now with a Lancôme concealer in Camee. I don't know, C-A-N-E-E, whatever fancy pronunciation you want to use here. And I'm going to blend that out with a Sigma F86. First taking that outward and then bringing it back in towards the inner corner. And what that's going to do is allow the concealer to sort of, catch all the lines. I don't know, so you don't crease. We're going to go in now with Bare Minerals Stroke of Light, and this is totally going to help for our nose and cheek contour later. Bring that up on the sides of your nose and blend it out with a damp beauty blender. It's going to sort of bring that pinkish highlight down our cheeks and our nose where we want it to be pink. And then we're going to go in with MAC Prep and Prime and Light Boost down the center of the forehead, above the brows, and in almost a mini Christmas tree pattern because, 'tis the season. You're going to also take it down a little on your chin, which you can avoid if you'd rather not draw attention to it, on the Cupid's bow, the bridge of the nose, and around the outside edges of the nose as well. I prefer this yellow shade to a concealer because I feel like the yellow combats redness better than most concealers do. We're going to spray our beauty blender with some MAC Fix Plus, check the slow-mo, and blend it out. And then we're going to set with Tarte Smooth Operator. Whatever you prefer is totally fine. I have to set the rest of this too or it sort of smudges later. Now we are going to start our contour with a matte bronzer. I'm using Tarte 12-Hour in Park Avenue Princess with a Sephora Pro Angled number 49 brush. Whatever matte bronzer suits you. No shimmer for contour though. You just start at the top of your ear and head towards the inner corner of your mouth, but curving around the natural cheekbone. And then bring it under your chin to hide whatever double chin you may or may not have, down the sides of the neck, on the tops of the forehead, and contour your nose as you please. If you love the nose God gave you, then just rock it. Now we're going to go in with Tarte 12-Hour Blush in Flush with a Makeup Geek Domed Blush Brush. Say that 10 times fast. After that, we're going to highlight with Becca Moonstone and a Sigma F35 on the top of our cheekbones, a touch above the brows, and a dab down the bridge of the nose. A little bit on the Cupid's bow and on the tip of the nose. And magically, through the power of editing, we skip brows and lashes and we are moving on. Things kind of get a little awkward here. I zoomed out a touch too far. So as best as I can, I'm going to try to explain to you what's going on until shit gets right again. First, we are taking some of Urban Decay's 24/7 liner in Perversion down the lower lash line and stopping a little less than halfway. What we do next is, God, I wish you could see better here, is take that liner and use it as a guide to sort of carefully draw a line down straight rather than curving around, if that makes any sense at all. Check it out as best you can. And yes, that is a Batman sticker on my lamp. Don't judge me. Leaving the inner corner, or rather inner third, completely free of liner, go in and carefully, with as much precision as possible, smudge it out with Makeup Geek Bitten and Cocoa Bear, with a MAC 219 or any other pencil brush, then using a small amount of the bronzer, or you used earlier, or any bronzer you prefer, whatever you want to work, to blend it out. Just make sure you blend it. Remembering to follow that same line straight down that we followed earlier, and keep your mouth shut, because if you're like me, you make crazy faces while you do this. Line the outer half of the rim with MAC Costa Riche or any other liner that follows suit, and touch up the lower lash line as needed, building up color intensity until you're happy with the result. Now we're going to highlight our inner corner. I'm using Stila Kitten on a MAC 228, highlighting the inner corner as usual, but also bringing it down into the inner third of the lower lash line, above the line we drew downward earlier. And what this is going to do is give your eyes a more open, dramatic effect. We are going to line our lips with MAC Staunchly Stylish and color them in with Gerard Cosmetics 1995, that lipstick that Jaclyn Hill made, which is totes beautiful. Takes forever to get shipped though, so if you want it, you should by Christmas you should probably order it, like 2 weeks ago. Anyways, we're sticking with a more nude look for the lips because we're so sparkly in the eyeballs today and fabulous. And now our slow-mo, because we totally think we're cute here, even though our hair is a hot mess. God, it's creepy watching this. I need to do something with myself. But first, let me take a selfie.